Okay, so in this one we are going to change the search to work with Foursquare this time instead of with Loku, and then we're going to look at that location's details based off of Foursquare again. Alright, so let's go back into Komodo Edit. First thing we want to do is go into our views for the home. So, open your GeoLocator views, and we are going to comment this out with the 3 quotes. Single quote, that is, and that comments that part out. So we take away the hashtag, and now we can use Foursquare search as our location search. Now jumping into functions, we want to change the Foursquare function to bring back more than just the name like we did before. We need it to bring back the latitude and longitude. So let's just grab this. We're going to copy this part right here, and we're going to put comma, paste in the ID, and just like that. Alright, save that. So that means we don't actually have to make any changes to our home.html file. So if we go back into Chrome, we search Newport Beach, and now we have these new things coming up, and if we look at it, down at the bottom there, you'll see that the location it's going to has an ID there, which is great. So, and here, what we're going to do now is we're going to go for loc in locations, just like what we did before. This time, though, we're going to be saving it as a Foursquare object. So, name and for ID equals location object of 0 and location object of 1. Alright, so we can actually just copy this whole thing here and change this to for ID. Oops. And let's make sure in our models it is for ID, and it is. So go back into your function, or excuse me, your views, and change that to for ID. Save that. Now let's go back here, do the search again. It's going to roll through, and if we go to there, we will find it. So it's saying if Loku, which is not true. So we'll go back into our views for the single location. So Loku, it's not Loku in this case, so we'll just say Loku equals to false. Put that a couple times, as well as the except, and then Foursquare equaling to false. Otherwise we'll have this location assignment issue. So save that and refresh. Global name false is not defined. So Boolean object is not iterable because we don't have the details. So we actually want to get the details, but for now what we will do is just do location objects all, just so we have some kind of details here, and we do. So now that is working. If we do it again and we go to Starbucks, it will say Starbucks, and then it gives us irrelevant details at this point. So we need to make something that's similar to Loku details for Foursquare details. So we're going to jump into the Foursquare API console, and what we're going to do this time is it's going to pop open this. We actually want to go to venues, and we're going to search by the venue ID. So it's going to open this new thing. If you scroll down in the query, you're not going to see a whole lot. That's okay. So we'll go back to template. We need this venue ID, and if you remember, we already grabbed a lot of these venue IDs. So if we paste that in there and make sure you are authenticated, if you're not, then it's going to raise an error. So we send that, and now this is the response that we get. It should be okay. And then we see our response, venue, the ID, the name, contact information, and then we have location. So if we go back in here, we can actually get rid of this search function, So looking at how this URL looks, let's just copy that. Go back into Komodo Edit, paste it, so you can get rid of the HTTP at the end. Just to look at how the difference is, search is no longer there, right? So search is replaced with the venue ID. So let's do for ID as the value that we're going to be passing through this function. And it looks like we can get rid of latitude and longitude, so let's just get rid of that for now. We can get rid of this. All right, and we can even get rid of find place. We don't need that function anymore. So the ID here, we're going to turn it into a string. So for ID equals to the string of for ID, or we can just call it for equals to the string of that. So we'll add that right here as indicated there. So plus 4 plus. Now let's get rid of search. Let's leave that question mark there. Okay, cool. And then we have our OAuth token. All right, we can get intent check-in. We can get rid of that. And our token, then we just add it there, just like we did. Okay, so then we have our object ready to open, and then our data. And cool, so now let's look at that response again. So we have venue. So venue, if we minimize it, we'll see that the venue has a dictionary value. So if we see here, since it's not venues and we see a dictionary value right away, we don't see a list. So what that means is it's just a few dictionary things that we need to do here. So if we go back into our views, this is actually wrong. First of all, it's venue, not venues. So let's change that to venue. And actually, we're just going to do details append and then data venue, and then we can just add these two to the end of that, and that's going to be the latitude. So we can get rid of those, copy that, paste it, change it into longitude. And again, this is how the dictionary is working. So if we look back at the dictionary, just again, we see that that has a dictionary value. It's brackets, it's the curly brackets, it's not the square brackets. If there's the square brackets like that, then we would have to do that for loop. But since it's not the square brackets, we can call it directly like that. So let's save it, go back into Chrome, and let's see if we got our details, and we do. And look, it's showing up just as expected, and as it should be. So curl fitness, that's where it's located. I'm sure you can look that up in any other place. So let's go to maybe like a market. Cool. Let's change our zoom a little bit. Let's go to home. Excuse me, single. Scroll up. Let's do a zoom of 16. Let's see if it goes in nice and zoomed into that location. So that's perfect. This is using now Foursquare data to find the same thing. Of course, you probably are thinking, well, this is going to be an issue if we're going to try to find both of them what are we going to do? Switch it every time we want, or have two different search forms? No, we want to actually be smarter about it. So in the next one, we will try our best to combine the two, and we're going to have to do it with certain criteria. It's probably going to have to be based off of the city and the name of the location, so it can really give us some really cool dynamic data. And we're going to give credit to Foursquare and Loku, because there's no real reason not to, other than maybe if you're trying to make it look like it's, like all your data. But I mean, give credit where credit is due. So, and I think it's also part of the API requirements to give credit for both of them. So in the next one, we will work on that search function to make it just a little bit more dynamic. And also we want to kind of save it, so every time it does this, it saves at least the coordinates, maybe a few other items that we might want to be relevant. So speeds up the searching process. Instead of every time we go to the single page, it's not running these functions, because that could actually drain our resources a lot. So we will see you in the next one.